Every day comes with its own blessing, and today just arrived with its own blessing, and we are ready to tap from this blessing on this beautiful first day of July 2026. Well, the first quarter of the year has been very wonderful, and I'm very sure that this second quarter would be more beautiful than the first quarter. That's what I believe, and it's a good thing to see another bright new day. And we are excited to come on your way once again. It is Global Morning on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, Nigeria. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. I am on Global Morning right now, and of course, I'm not alone. I can't do it alone. Wherever there is a head, there is always a neck, and of course, wherever there is a man. I'm not saying that. The saying that whatever men can do, women can do it better is not still there, still there. But this one is a collabo global morning. Right here, ladies and gentlemen, let me announce the lady in the building, Jumai Mercy.
It's great to be here, Ramsey Enoch Agbo. We're doing this side by side with you today.
Yes, it's a new month. Happy new month.
Oh, I love that. Happy new month. And to each and every one of you out there, happy new month. I am Jumai Manson, and yes, it's Global Morning.
I see this month coming in with a whole lot.
Yeah.
Some people said June was very fast.
Yes, it was.
But for people, when people talk about how fast a day is or how far a month is, one single thing comes to my mind.
What?
And that's, sometimes if you're busy, you don't know whether the day is running. But then, if you're expecting something like money and a lot, you're like, oh, he said 5. It's just 3 o'clock. Why not? The day's not running.
Exactly, that's true. We're always in a rush, and you see that particular tension is always down when you look at the time. But like you said, once you're busy, it has full effect.
Generally, July is going to be fine.
I
don't know if I have a weakness.
Yes, you do have a weakness. And the truth of the matter is, this is like the second quarter of the year. And that is why I always say, let's be grateful for life. We've seen the first quarter, which is from January to June, and now July to December. By the grace of God, let's be thankful, let's be hopeful, and always be grateful for the gift of life. It doesn't matter what your circumstance is. It doesn't matter what you're going through. Just be happy. You're alive. You're breathing. And you're here, right? And that's the most important thing. That's one of the most important things. Just be grateful for life and be grateful to God.
Be grateful. I think you've already done the inspirational, so maybe we'll not have inspirational this
morning. We're going to have inspirational. Very important, Ramsey.
Alright.
But let's talk about insecurity now.
My God. I feel like putting my hands on my head.
Please don't. You scare a lot of people. The rate of insecurity in Nigeria now, in various states in Nigeria, it's really alarming. And I was discussing with some of my colleagues yesterday. Like, now what you do is that try and keep your environment safe as much as you can, for as much as you might not have that police immediate action when, God forbid, when there's an issue when it comes to insecurity with robbers or banditry, because now they bring it to the forefront of the household. Now these bandits, kidnappers, they go to estates. We heard what happened in Jikoyi phase 1, how they actually went into an estate and kidnapped some residents in their home. So how do you keep your environment safe from these individuals with the little capacity that you have? You don't have any weaponry, you do not have all of that, but how do you keep yourself and your family safe? It's a matter of concern. Not talking about those kidnapped victims, the teachers and the students in Orire, in Oyo Ibadan. No one is talking about it as much as we need to get these the teacher and the students out. It's just unfortunate that this is how we are. Once we make a lot of noise at the beginning, first 2 months, the next months later or weeks later, it just douses down. Is it supposed to be so, Ramsey?
I'm still surprised, number one, for the fact that our borders are porous. You are in FCT, you are not sure whether you're safe or not. This happened in Abuja. Jukwe is part of Abuja.
Yes, it is.
Jukwe, is part of Abuja. Jukwe down to Nyanya and all of that is from.
Maraba
is from Abuja stops at Nyanya. So
yes,
Jukwe and of course the rest of them are part of Abuja.
Yes, they are.
If this is happening right at the seat of power, then something is wrong somewhere. You're in your house, you're not on the road, you're not traveling, you're not on the highway, and you're still not safe. These kidnappers have become so bold that they can enter an estate, not knowing who has a weapon, what kind of weapon the person have, whether there are retired generals, military officers in the estate who have weapons, who have guns. They are that bold to walk into an estate and kidnap people and walk out through the gate or whatever means. It's alarming and it calls for warning. Like you said, we need to intensify our security consciousness. Our efforts need to be intensified. Our intelligence, our quotient needs to get stronger than it is right now.
Very important.
Because we were talking about the Oyo kidnap, and I was like, are we going to have a repeat of what happened in the north?
The Chibok girls.
The Chibok girls. Up till now, we don't know.
Most of them are still in captivity.
And attention somehow has been on students. We're talking about students and pupils and teachers being kidnapped. How are fair? Nobody knows. And like you said, the first time we had a lot of efforts being pushed for by the authorities. We even heard about 1,000 vigilantes, forest guard, were deployed to Oyo State. What has been the outcome?
Exactly.
Sometimes they will tell you it's a security situation and not every information would be put out there in the media space.
Yes.
But then, Nigerians need to see the effort. Nigerians need to feel it. People are becoming too insecure. And all of this boiled down to more implications for our economy. Because a lot of people cannot stay out to do their businesses. A lot of people cannot even travel our highways, our roads, because of insecurity, kidnaps, and all of that. How would they be able to move goods from one location to the other if they can't fly the highway? The federal government, I think at the FEC meeting, we heard Omahi talking about roads and all of that, people talking about different things. If the roads are beautiful and people can't ply them, of what use are the roads? We're not saying what the government is doing is not okay, because those roads have been in that state for a very long time before this administration came up, and now we have these roads being fixed. All right, some of the roads being fixed, but people are scared of plying this road. You can't ply these roads because of kidnappers, because of the security situation in the country. So as it is, I think the operatives, governments need to do more, especially to release those in captive. Nigeria Army, I know a lot of people believe in the security architecture of this country because they've done it before and they can do it again. So we can't be in this condition. I was thinking loud and I was wondering, is this how we are going to get into 2027? Election is coming forth.
Yes, it is.
If people are not in a very good frame of mind, they can come out to vote. We'll have more voter apathy. And you know what? That speaks of our democracy. So these are some of the things. Instead of politicking and looking down on governance, taking governance for granted, I think it will be good for us to put all hands on deck and ensure that everyone is safe wherever they are, so that 2027's election can be smooth, free and fair, then credible.
Transparent.
Yeah, that's what it means.
Very, very importantly, Ramsey, you've spoken very well when it comes to this issue of voter apathy, and of course we have to be safe enough to go out there to cast our votes in the polling unit, and that's a lot of concern. Like I've always mentioned on the program, I said, if we can actually curb this menace of insecurity, all others fall into place, because you have to be alive to vote. You have to be alive to have citizens around you to come out and vote when it comes to issues, our daily activities and all of that. You have to be alive, and insecurity is one trap that can actually snip life out with immediate effect. So at the same time, I think we have a lot to do when it comes to insecurity. And yes, our military men and women, they are, we know how amazing they are, throwing in so much weight, so much effort for us to even come out to be on the program. It takes a lot of individuals out there at the back of the scene who are trying their best to actually curb this menace. They are doing fantastic when it comes to being in the forefront where these bandits are. They're doing very well, but at the same time, we can actually do more in order to douse this situation down, because it is cause for worry and cause for concern.
All right, well, that's that about the security situation. I don't know how much fuel is, all right, in your location, but then the fight, okay, the blockage at the Hormuz, at least there is a relief. The price of crude has reduced.
Yes, it has.
But then the price of fuel in Nigeria has not reduced. The price of gas is on the rise.
Yes, it is.
And of course, the federal government have said, well, the marketers need to do what is necessary. And of course, we've been hearing about that. But what about the implementation? So many times, a lot of Nigerians, they will tell you, well, this is how we hear it. But what about the implementation? Who is implementing what the government is saying? It's a concern, because if fuel, right, in Nigeria sneezing, every other thing catches cold. So we should be mindful of what we pass down to the average Nigerians. We're still waiting for when the price of fuel will reduce and the fare will also reduce. Let it not be that scenario where people believe that if a price of something goes up in Nigeria, it doesn't come down. This one had to come down. We're tired of protests.
No.
We had about 2 protests yesterday, even though it was political,
Yes.
but then that of Showore, then that of ADC,
Yes.
these are the ones that we know. We are tired of protesting.
We're tired.
So we don't have to wait until people hit the road before the needful is being done.
Exactly, it's very important. And of course, driving to work this morning, I saw that some filling stations have been closed down. I don't want to mention any name because once you pay for advertising,
because of the price.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. It has been since this issue of the bring down all fuel prices should be brought down and all of that. Some filling stations have been closed down. Some prominent ones that I always buy fuel from has been closed down. They have not been active since last week, and now it's
probably they are angry that they asked them to reduce the price.
Why would they be angry?
That is greed.
How about Nigerians? We that feel the brunt of this
That
issue.
is greed. They've made a lot of money this period, and they are shutting down. I was at a fueling station yesterday, and I saw just one pump. All these pumps that they have, just one dispensing, and people were on queue, and I was like, what's happening? What's going on?
Exactly, this is what we see.
Well, this is what we see, and this is Nigeria. This time we'll go through the national dailies for you, and let's see what is happening. But before then, let's just let you know that so much is happening in Nigeria. And how do you get to know about these things? You get to know about them, all right, when you are always watching television, radio. Even though some people say now they don't watch news because of what is happening.
But at the same time, before we go into all of that, we're going to talk about what's happening at the dailies. We'll have our first and second guest today, but I think with all of these issues of pump price, Strait of Hormuz, it's making me a bit hungry. So I think we should delve into taste and texture.
Okay.
But much I'm not going to tell you what we're having because it's a surprise.
Okay.
You have to find out, and of course our viewers need to find that out for themselves. Let's just quickly delve into the taste and texture segment on Rural TV. Stay tuned.
everyone, and welcome to Taste and Texture. This is your super innovative chef, Saadatu Garba. Today, we're going to prepare an easy delicacy, and we will be breaking down the entire process. In this episode of the program, we'll be preparing pancakes with syrup. Pancake is always a delicious and simple breakfast option. This one is a recipe that is filling, delicious, and nutritious. Also, this breakfast pancake can be made in under 5 minutes by anyone. In addition to the speed and ease of making it, it is also fun to make. Ingredients: flour, sugar, egg, milk, salt, oil, and butter. Add a cup of flour into a bowl. Add 2 teaspoons of sugar and baking powder. Add a teaspoon of salt and mix all together. Add a cup of milk into the dry mixture. Crack 1 egg and whisk, then add into the batter. Add 2 tablespoons of oil and mix everything together, then set aside. Heat up a pan with little oil. Scoop your pancake batter and add into the heated pan. Allow to cook for a minute, then flip when the edges are brown. Repeat the process until you exhaust the batter. Serve with syrup and butter, and your fluffy pancakes are ready to enjoy. That's how we end today's episode of Taste and Texture. I hope you found our recipe insightful. Let's do this again next time, and be sure to join me for another taste-friendly delicacy. I am Saadatu Garba, your creative chef, saying thank you for watching.
All right, you're welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that yummylicious, tasty, mouth-watering segment of Taste and Texture, all about pancakes, one of my favorites. Ramsey,
pancake, yeah.
I don't like the way you did your mouth. Like, why? What's wrong with pancakes? This made me bad. What is wrong with pancakes?
No, it's cool. It's cool. Pancake is cool.
I don't like the way you said it.
No, it's cool. It's cool. As if you have everything. All right, like we had the honey and everything on it. It's going to give us a different taste. Let's go and give it a try. Please, everyone, give it a try. You love it.
Please do.
Give it a try. At least have a mix. Someone said Nigeria. Which food we ever have in Nigeria apart from swallow and rice? Please go and try it out. Try something different today.
It's very important. And for individuals who have diabetes, you can actually use wheat flours for pancake. It's fantastic. You should try it out. It's really fantastic. Believe me, I'm a foodie, so I know these things. Trust me. Don't you think? Right, Mr. Ramsey?
Well, you're a foodie, yeah.
Yes,
of course, I know. I know how many things.
Okay, no. Don't put me on the spot. What's your...
No, you said it. I am just trying to compliment what you just said.
It's okay.
Okay, thank you. Please, if you're a foodie too, just try it out. If you're not a foodie, try it out. Then give us feedback on our social media platform how the taste is. Please add the amount of honey that you can take. All right, so that the honey or sugar, so that the honey will not be too much.
Okay.
Use honey instead of sugar.
Okay, fine.
Because of diabetes.
Well, thank you. Yes, of course. Or you can just leave it with lots of butter. But we're not going into that now. But at the same time, I want to be inspired today, and I'm sure most individuals out there want to be inspired when it comes to heart inspirational with my co-host here, Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Let's hear what he has to tell us this morning. Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to another moment of heart-to-heart inspirational. Well, let's talk heart-to-heart a little bit because a lot of people have not been able to bounce back after the last time they failed. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Welcome to Heart-to-Heart Inspirationals. Failure is a feedback and not a funeral. I want to say that again because of people who failed. Some people fell and they remain on the ground. They never got up again because of what they feel people around them are going to say. But then failure is a feedback. And that's why some people tell you all the time that whatever happens, all right, there is a lecture from every lesson. Whatever happens to you in life, there is something that you are meant to learn from it, either positively or negative thing that you need to take cognizance of and be watchful as you move on the journey of life. So I just want to tell you today that failure is a feedback and not a funeral. What kind of feedback did you get from that last failure? Have you even tried anything at all? Have you experienced failure before? If you've not experienced failure before, it means you need to try harder, because on this journey of destiny, people who are successful today are people who have failed a number of times, and they got up on their feet, learned from their mistake, and their mistake became a stepping stone for them. And of course, they are where they are today. Why? Because they never allow that failure to become a funeral to their dream. What am I emphasizing? As a matter of fact, let's normalize something today, all right? Let's normalize something today. A failure, you've heard about it all the time. Okay, this person is a failure, that person is a failure. People assess their counterparts, their neighbors, their brothers, their colleagues differently with different perspectives. Some persons already have been tagged as failure, and that has been affecting a lot of people. But then, have you accepted that you are a failure? That somebody told you you are a failure does not make you a failure until you accept that you are a failure. All right, not because it feels good, yeah, but because it is necessary. Sometimes, it's risk. It's risk. If you have taken a risk before, and of course, it didn't go well the way you think it was going to go, and you failed, it doesn't mean that is a funeral. It doesn't mean you shouldn't try it again. I was speaking with someone a few days ago, yeah, and we're talking about a particular business, and the young man told me, now I am successful, but then during my wilderness experience, when I was in the workshop, nobody knew anything about me. When I was failing over and over and over again, I lost money several times. I had to stay indoors and think of the next thing to do. He failed severally until he said, no, I am not going to allow this failure become a funeral. My dream is not going to be cut short by this failure. And he stood on his ground. Consistency. I must always emphasize consistency anytime I come up to speak to anyone on heart to heart, because it is very important. If you want to succeed in life, then consistency and discipline is very important. But the bottom line is this: nobody ever succeeds without first stumbling. Yes. You stumble, then you stand again. Even every little child, before a child starts walking, you stand them up, you see them, they walk a little bit, they fall. They walk a little bit, they fall until their leg gets stabled on the ground. All right? And you see them walking firmly. Then before you know it, they start running. The same thing is applicable to life. So failure, as a matter of fact, is not proof that you can't. All right, it's not a proof that you can't do it. It's proof that you tried. It's a proof that you tried. When you fail, it means you tried and you failed. It doesn't mean that's the end. It reveals what doesn't work and refine what eventually would work later. That's what failure does. Anytime you fail, you know that, yes, this one does not work. Let me try the other one. It gives you a focus. It makes you know that, yes, if I go this way, I'm going to fail again. So I need to do something else. It's only a fool that do the same thing the same way and expect a different result. If you are doing one thing the same way all the time, you get the same result. You need to apply technicality, strategy, discipline, excellence every time. Whatever you do, let that touch of excellence be in your head. All right? So that when you fail in one thing, you try doing it the other way. But then don't allow that first, second, third, fourth failure be your funeral. Let your dream and your vision and your talent not be buried because you failed. Because that failure is trying to refine you, is trying to build something in you.
What do you have to do? I want you to know that failure, what it does is that it reveals what doesn't work and refines what eventually will work. But you need to have this mentality. Every setback is information. If you are willing to learn, yes, that's what it means. Every setback that you've had in the past is an information, because there is something you need to learn from every setback, from every failure. Everyone throwing stones at you right now is because they know you are going somewhere. A lot of, see, let me tell you the truth. We have a lot of friendly enemies these days. Some people are smiling with you, but then they are not interested in your success. What they say behind you, if you hear it, hey, but then that shouldn't deter you. That shouldn't deter you, because you have a destination. So every setback is information if you are willing to learn, because most people don't fail because they are incapable. That you failed, it's not because you are incapable, but because you are going somewhere, because you are dogged, because you are rugged, because you are determined, because you are focused, because you have a dream, you have a vision, something you are pursuing and something you want to get. You have a target. So when people like that fail, they fail because they don't stop. But if you stop anytime soon, it means that failure has gotten to you. Let me give you an instance, an illustration. For instance, a GPS recalculates when you miss a turn. It doesn't shut down. All right? Failure, in other words, simply means it's time to adjust. Anytime you fail, the message is, no, I need to adjust. This principle, this procedure, this formula is not working. I need to adjust. There is something I need to do so that I don't fail again. That's what it means. Anytime you fail, there is a message. It is telling you it is time to adjust the procedure. It is time to re-strategize. That's what it means. All right, so you don't need to abandon your journey because you failed. There is a practical mindset shift that you need to have, and this is it. Number one, stop attaching shame to failure. Yes, stop attaching shame to failure. Some people, when they fail, they feel shy. Oh no, I'm not going to get on that stage again. They will laugh at me. No, I'm not going to do that business again. People will laugh at me. People will mock me. The same people will celebrate and want to identify with you if you are a success. So there should be a mindset and a mind shift for you. Extra lessons instead of self-criticism. Stop criticizing yourself because you failed. Stop criticizing yourself. Stop comparing yourself to other people with other people because you failed. That you failed. Failure is not a funeral. Stop burying yourself in shame and criticism. Try again. Make it better. Make it wiser. Make it stronger. That's what it means. All right? Failure is tuition paid for future success. That is a quote that I'm bringing to you now. Failure, I said, is what? Is tuition paid for future success. But if you don't pay, if you go to school now, all right, 100 level, you need to pay a tuition. In 100 level, you get to 200, you pay another tuition before you can get to 300 level. In every of this level, there are tuitions to pay. If you want to change levels in life, don't be scared of failure. If you are scared of failure, you will never try anything good. So what do you have to do? Keep pushing. Don't bury your dream because of one mistake that you made. I'll keep saying this. Learn, rise, and move forward. Don't worry about what people are saying. Don't worry about the situation around you. Don't think, oh, I have failed, I don't need to try it again. Keep trying. Change the strategy. Become wiser. Failure make you wiser. Because you walk through this way and you fail, you apply this strategy, this technique, this principle, this formula, and you failed. You will now need to re-strategize. Use another formula. All right? Until you get to your success. Until you get to what you want to achieve in life. All right? So you need to know that anytime you fail, it's a signal that you need to turn. You need to do something again. You need to re-strategize. You need to improvise. Come up with something new. As a matter of fact, failure is not the best option for you. So what you have to do, try as much as possible, right, to be sincere in everything that you do. Because if you want to please people, it will be disastrous. You don't need to please anyone, all right? You don't need to please anyone. It is when you're thinking about pleasing people that when you stumble, you say, oh, I've disappointed this person. I've disappointed even people who really love you, who want you to be successful. By the time you fail, instead of them condemning you, they will come and encourage you to do better. And that's the reason you need mentors. That's the reason you need people to talk to per time. All right? You need to talk to people. See, if you are embarking on a project, I emphasize mentorship all the time. I was speaking with a friend a few days ago, and I told the person, if I want to do this thing you're doing now, it is going to be express for me. It's going to be easier. I may have hitches. There might be some times where you have losses or maybe failure at some point, but then you have people to ask questions. I have someone to ask questions. Hey, I got hooked here. What do I do? Even the disaster is not going to be as disastrous as it would have been if you never have anyone to guide you on this journey of destiny. You really need people, okay? Because as your association determine your acceleration in life, okay? And your friends, you need to be careful with the kind of friends you have. If you have a bad friend, it is disaster. If you have a good friend, it means you have a shoulder to lean on, a shoulder to stand on and be tall so that you can get to that success that you are running after, that you are pursuing. Yes, congratulations, everyone. You are a success going somewhere to happen. Don't allow anything stop you on the way. Not failure, not criticism. Don't bury yourself because you failed. Failure is not funeral. Bye-bye for now and have a beautiful day.
All right, you're welcome back. And if you're just tuning in, this is Global Morning on Global Television. And hope you're well inspired when it comes to heart-to-heart inspirational with my amazing co-host here, Ramsey Enoch-Agbo. Thank you for that inspiration, Ramsey.
Yes, you're welcome.
All right. Now let's quickly delve into the newspaper review segment. And the first paper we'll be reviewing is The Nation. And above the nameplate on page 6, it says, Federal Government plans scrap of JSS and SSS program. Okay, I'm wondering what that is all about. And then the next close above the nameplate, it says Wilders, NDC uploads Obi, Dixon, others' names on INEC portal. And on page 29, it says UK asylum seekers to pay €10,000 before consideration. And on page 6, it says Lagos gets NRC license to run train station. And below the nameplate there, it says here, investors net 47 trillion naira capital gain in H1. And the star story on The Nation says Tunji Bello, one of his generations, must accomplish public servants, says Tinubu, and that's on page 6. And the star story says Apabio, Barao, Abdulrazak, Uzodinma, Yero on APC list. And the writer says Abbas, Kalu, Faleke get nomination forms, governors to meet Yalugwata. And below that again, it says anti-migrant rallies shut businesses in South African cities. And the writer says 270 Nigerians back home. And when you read that, Ramsey, you wonder, you say, back home to do what? What are they going to do? Is there like arrangements made? We already have a lot going on, we're trying to put a lot of things on track. There's so many things that is going on right now in Nigeria. People are talking about the economy, inflation. When we talk about healthcare, education, unemployment, and all of that. Now, this number coming home to do what?
Well, I think if you look at...
Although I'm not done with the Nation, though.
Yeah, we'll still get back to the Nation's newspaper.
Yes.
But first, we had about, 258 evacuated from South Africa. Mm-hmm. And the reception, when the Minister Foreign Affairs for State went to receive them, mm-hmm. if you see the way they were happy. Oh. Thank you for saving our life. They were clapping, So I was wondering, what are these people going through? We've seen videos where some persons who have been there for years,
of course,
doing very well, businesses.
Oh, fantastic.
One said he employed about 35 South African citizens, and he was asked to leave. So people like that, you begin to think, where is it going to start from?
Exactly.
Is it going to move out of South Africa to another country or come back home? Some of these people are coming back home, all right, because that's the only option left for them.
Yeah, that's true.
Owing to the fact that they've heard so much about Nigerian security, the dwindling nature of the economy, the drop and peak of the economy, up today, down tomorrow, sideways, forward, and all of that. Birth, life first. I think that's what NIDCOM and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in collaboration with the federal government is doing. Mm-hmm. Life first. By the time,
life first.
Yes, you need to come back home, sit down, relax, and plan of the next line of action. You plan on it so that you can know what to do. But all the same, yesterday some still came back. Yesterday some were evacuated from South Africa, and we are waiting. Uzodinma said those from Imo State to be given ₦1 million. That was what he promised them. We don't know how many of them are from Imo State. So I don't know what other states are doing, and I don't know what the federal government have for them, because they are doing documentations anyway. As soon as they arrive, they do documentations and all of that. So let's just wait and see what will happen. But the best thing the federal government has done in collaboration with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, is the effort to evacuate them out of South Africa, which for now to them is a danger zone.
It is a danger zone, well put together. And hopefully the needful is done, because a lot of, for a woman who they're doing very well for themselves, and then you come back to ground zero, it's very frustrating.
It is.
It could be very frustrating. A man of integrity and worth can throw a blind eye and just put his hands in something that it's uncalled for, something that he has never done before. So I think the needful should be done. So we shouldn't add more problems to ourselves.
Yes, more so that we have security situation.
Exactly. Because
on either hand
is the devil's workshop. So we have to be very careful when it comes to this. For as much as I am happy that they are home and they are alive, I'm very happy. But I think it mustn't be so much. Something they can start off with, because these individuals Nigerians are hard workers. Go to America, for instance. Go to China. Sure. I have friends in South Africa who I'm sure, I just don't want to talk about it, but I'm sure they were doing very well for themselves.
But all of them now have to leave.
And now to zero now.
It's either you move to another country or you come back home.
Well, anyway, I'm sure by the grace of God, the needful will be done. And at the foot of the Nation newspaper, it says here, and it's on page 26, it says, New army recruits accused of assaulting female students during hostels invasion. Okay, come on. A recruit? Come on. Isn't it too early? You've not even reached anywhere. You're already... No comment. Next is
It's a zone, so you know what you're saying. Well, you know what you're saying, because I don't know the brutality. A lot of people are angry, but please don't transfer your anger to anyone.
Don't transfer of aggression.
Keep it. There shouldn't be transfer of aggression. Just keep it.
Okay.
Handle it. You know,
The best way you can.
Yeah, the best way you can. If you need to see a psychologist, please try and do so.
Okay.
Nigerians are going through so much, all right? But I keep telling Nigerians, you can't make yourself, you can't be happier than how happy you make yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. So make yourself happy by all means. We know what's going on, but then we need to be alive.
Very important. It's very important that you make yourself happy. Happiness, they say, is free.
It's free.
So you have to
you don't pay for it.
You don't. All right. Up next is the Vanguard newspaper, and of course Ramsey will run us through.
All right, let's quickly look at the Vanguard newspaper for you this morning and see the headlines on the Vanguard newspaper. From the Vanguard newspaper, we have a lot of very interesting stories this morning. And of course, I'm beginning from above the nameplate, where we have this one that says Finance Minister defends federal government's borrowing, 6 commercial disputes tribunal. All right, borrowing, right. This one on page 14 says discuss and exposed on Herbert Macaulay. All right, the first Nigerian nationalist that's coming from Bode Judge. Evacuated Nigerians, federal government seek compensation from South Africa for abandoned properties. Meaning they will leave their properties.
Yeah.
Gee.
Let's see.
I don't even know where to start from.
Yeah, that is it.
See, you've been watching videos.
I have.
Like that man that was caught in front of his shop.
Yes.
Very big, more like a
Yes,
mall.
his papers, I have
Yes,
my
I
papers.
have my papers. I have everything. Why are you asking me to go?
Yeah.
You know, and they said that they don't want to be violent, and they were carrying things. So people like that will leave everything.
Every single
But they would have given them. This is what I don't know. I don't know what the motive is. I don't know what the government of South Africa is thinking.
I was going to say that.
Yes, I don't know what the government of Africa, President Ramaphosa, I don't know what they are doing. I don't know what their intentions are. But then I don't know if this fight, they can fight it to the end. I don't know who's behind them. I don't know their motive. But then, if you're asking people to leave, because this case can be taken to I don't know. See, as it is, if you're asking me to leave, allow me to go with my things. They are mine. All right? If you're, like those that have been evacuated so far, I don't know if it will be possible their lives have been saved for them to have an assistance to go move their things. No, cargo plane can do that.
Are you kidding me, Ramsey?
If they have what it takes, they can do it if they are given the opportunity. Some persons, see, you can. It's a matter of collaborating.
And
this is what I have in South Africa. Give me this loan. Let me move them to Nigeria. You can do an agreement, but then leaving everything they have in South Africa,
Yes.
starting from square zero.
Yes, I told you before, and the truth is, this is a matter of life and death. But they're trying to avoid another xenophobic attack. And you know how that was years back. It was horrible. It was nothing to write home about. And this same country, South Africa. But at the same time, you know, there's always a way around all of these. Nigerians have made impact in South Africa.
Sure.
They have made,
Sure.
they brought value. They have brought a lot when it comes to wealth creation, employment opportunities.
Yeah, I'm
They actually
aware.
employ most of their citizens.
And this is going to affect their economy, whether they like it or not.
No, it will definitely affect their economy. Definitely.
See.
Nigerians have made serious impact in South Africa. So I want to see how far they will go with all of this. And South Africans who, by the way, I don't want to mention, we know that some say it's not Jumaiman, so nobody should please quote me. So some South Africans are very lazy. So let's just see how far they
It is in the public space. You're not the one saying it. You know, there is a saying, somebody said a story, told me a story sometimes back, that whether in a community some people were succeeding and the people who were poor said, okay, they should give them everything the rich people have, so that the rich people can start all over again. And they gave them. Do you know that in few years they squandered everything and went back to square zero? And these rich people, rich wise men, started all over and they grew. Because you can take the wealth, but did you have the skill, the wisdom, the knowledge, the expertise to make those things work? So it's not about allowing people to go. Do you have what it takes? The things they were doing,
Can you do it?
Can you do it?
So, but let's just see where this will take us. And most of them will tell you that, you know what it is. You know how our Nigerian men are. I have to put it out there because we all know how they are. They're loving, they're caring when it comes to spending money on their women. So they felt they are intimidated. That's one of the reasons. It's just covered up. As much as they want for
okay, they feel Nigerian men are taking care of their women more than they are doing.
But it's obvious the Nigerian men are.
So go do same. If you want to do it, go do same.
They don't have the capacity though.
Well, let's see how all of this is going to end.
Exactly.
But then, I don't know, because I could remember what happened to the South African team at the World Cup. But then, well, let's see. Back to the National Daily. Let's see what's going on there. Still on the Vanguard newspaper, where we're bringing you headlines. And we have some other headlines now to the big story. But then before the big story, this one said 79,323 killed, 34,773 abducted in 6 years. Now to the start story on the Vanguard newspaper. Lagos underwater. Flood sack homes, paralyze commuters. Commerce. That's in Lagos State. You know, Lagos is a riverine area.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Outrage over army personnel's assault on Uni Osun student. We talked about that already on page 30. You can find that. Borno school attack. 37 children still missing. That's parents.
Very sad.
On page 7, you can actually find that detail. If you're interested, you can go through them. U.S. Supreme Court blocks Trump's bid to end birthright citizenship. That's on page 8. Well, I could remember some people traveled away from Nigeria to go and give birth abroad, so their children
could be citizens. Well, some were very lucky.
Some were,
in the 90s.
Yes,
They were very lucky.
even up to 2000, you know, a lot of people travel. Well, these are the headlines we'll be taken from the Vanguard newspaper this morning as we move to the Punch.
All right, now the Punch newspaper giving us some very punchy stories above the nameplate here on page 7. It says Borno abduction. It says parents list 36 missing children as youth protest. And next on page 30 it says NDC uploads Obi Dixon as INEC restores portal access. And on page 12 it says Wabara BOT seeks INEC recognition for Turaki PDP. And beside the nameplate on the Punch newspaper on page 30 it says federal government to scrap JSS SSS structure over 20 million dropouts. Okay, I'm wondering what that is all about, but you have to go get the Punch newspaper to be well abreast with their issues. And it says here xenophobia. Nigerian embassy packed 269 Nigerian embassy packed 269 return as South Africa protests rise. And that's on page 2. And one of the writers says, fear, hunger as Nigerians take shelter in embassy churches. Oh my goodness. The next says, recently arrived Lagos. FG insists evacuation ongoing amid anti-migrant protests. And the next says, Nigerians in South Africa, ex-envoy push for diplomatic dialogue. I don't think that will make any headway, but there's nothing worth not trying. And on page 22, it says, Discus earned 801 billion naira despite persistent blackouts. And on page 21, it says, marketers reject fuel pricing, curb threatened shutdown. And below the Punch newspaper, it says on page 12, I never rubber stamped foreign loans as Senate President, and that's Saraki. And on page 4 and 5, it says, flood waters submerge homes, disrupt power supply in Lagos. And here it says 79,323 killed, 34,773 abducted in Nigeria in 6 years. And that's from reports on page 7. So please go out and get yourself a copy of the Punch newspaper to be well informed with the major issues making rounds. Next, we have the Daily Times.
All right, let's quickly look at the Daily Times for you this morning and see what we have, beginning from the Star story. Stop demonizing borrowing, Finance Minister tells critics. Please pick a copy of the Daily Times newspaper and get to know what it means to demonize borrowing. I don't say much. I don't say much. Seriously. Now, two writers to that story actually says it's strategic tool, not moral failing. Proposes establishment of commercial dispute resolution tribunal. All right. Then we have this one which says federal government cancels JSS to SS separation policy. So you just do everything PM, nothing like writing the junior WAEC. You just do everything PM, and of course get to SS3 and write your exam and go. No separation anymore. But then I think what is going on with the NYC can also be replicated from our GSS 1 to SS3. So that it's a continuation, it's a continuity, all right? Whatever skill you acquire from secondary school, by the time you go to NYC, you polish and furnish it so that as you're getting out of school, you would be able to at least become an entrepreneur instead of waiting for the government. So we should be thinking from both left, right, back, front, and center, all right? That's my proposal anyway. Yeah, that's my proposal. I think I'm a Nigerian and I have the right to also propose. Okay. Now, what other headline do we have? 269 more Nigerians arrive from South Africa as xenophobic deadline expires. And this one, Politics Now, alleged 400 million naira bribery. Hold your appointees accountable. Atiku tells Tinubu. As a matter of fact, these are the headlines that we have for you today on the Daily Times newspaper. Let's quickly leave the Daily Times. Of course, this is the size of the headlines that we have for you today. And of course, everyone have the right to propose something, and like I just did, and every headline that we just took, Global Television as a media house does not have an editorial contribution to these headlines. It's all properties and write-ups of the various newspaper houses. So you can pick a copy of any of the papers that interest you, and of course follow everything happening on Global Television, as we might in some of our programs touch one or two areas from the National Daily for more explanation and analysis. All right, as it is right now,
yes,
so many things are happening.
Yeah.
You've been very excited. Do you have any proposal for?
No, I don't. No, I don't at all. No, I don't. But let's just quickly
The reason why we do this proposal is because we speak to the people all the time. So it's appearing as if the media people, the journalists who interface with the average Nigerians on a daily, even people at the nook and cranny of this country, are getting to know what the people need more than their representatives,
I'm sure,
who are at the House of Rep, because some of them have not gone home for the past 1 year, okay, because of insecurity or whatever reason. But then insecurity should not be an excuse because we travel.
Yes.
So they have security operators. They should also be able to travel to the grassroots and know what is happening there, so they can make proposals and, of course, talk of bills and make recommendations for the
very
government.
important to know the plight of the
plights of the people
is very important. But at the same time, let's just see what this holds. And we're going to, up next is our first discuss of the day.
Yes.
We'll quickly go on a very quick break. Thank you for staying with us. It's Global Morning on Global Television. Stay tuned. All right, you're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, you have missed a little bit on the program because we just ended our newspaper review segment just a few seconds ago. And up next is Social Buzz with Ogochukwu Mogono. Stay tuned.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and
At Witchtech Cables, we don't just make cables, we deliver excellence. Our products are built with advanced technology, trusted for their unmatched quality and durability. With a wide range of cables, swift delivery, and continuous innovation, we stay ahead of the market demand. We are proudly Nigerian, fully indigenous, yet world-class. Backed by a professional team, strong technical support, and a deep commitment to customer satisfaction. Witchtech Cables is more than a brand, it's a promise. Witchtech Cables, quality cables better than the best.
At Aerogym Shoe Factory, excellence starts from the ground up. Located at number 1 Pound Road behind Nigeria Correctional Service, Aba, Abia State. We produce 1,500 high-quality shoes every single day. Paramilitary shoes, safety boots, desert boots, ankle shoes, back-to-school footwear. All crafted with state-of-the-art equipment and built for strength, comfort, and durability. For reliable footwear that stands the test of time, choose Aerogym Shoes for better product, strong steps, smart style. For inquiries, call 091-264-53399 or 070-3009-3944 or 080-6573-8374 or call 081-3167-3668. Email info@aerogym.com. Website www.aerogymdesign.com. Aerogym. Walk with confidence. Walk with pride.
And we bring you the extra. It's your one-stop shop for trends, tweets, and the tea everyone's sipping on. Join the conversation, share your thoughts, and get that extra dose of what's shaking the internet.
And on issues making wave on social media to your doorstep.
Social Buzz Extra, where the trend meets the talk, only on Global TV.
Good morning, Nigerians and viewers around the world. It's time to look at buzzing issues making the rounds on social media. Today we were talking about politics. Peter Obi cannot defeat Tinubu in Lagos again. This coming from Presidency. The special advisor to President Bola Tinubu on media and public communications, Sunday Dare, has dismissed suggestions that the presidential candidate of Nigerian Democratic Congress, NDC, Peter Obi, possesses a political threat to the Tinubu administration, insisting that the government is focused on delivering its mandate. Speaking during an interview on Mike on podcast over the weekend, Dare said the administration was not afraid of Obi, arguing that the government performance and policy initiative has strengthened its position ahead of the 2027 general election. The government is not afraid of Peter Obi. He is not a nightmare to our government. Maybe before, Peter Obi was a threat, but right now, he's no threat because we stand on the solid ground of performance, Dare said. We have been able to interrogate the problems of this country. Decisions are being taken. Policies are being unfolded across the country, and we have a scorecard to show, he added. Peter Obi is not a nightmare. Maybe you replace nightmare with nuisance, because if you see some of his reactions, they are very pandemic. He said pedantic, I beg your pardon. Sometimes you wonder, you listen to some of his interviews, ask him a question, and he goes in a roundabout direction that does not make sense, he said. Peter Obi defeated President Tinubu in Lagos in 2023. This is 2027. He can't defeat Tinubu again in Lagos. Well, that is coming from Dare, a media aide to the president. And, so much to talk about when it comes to this. And I'm asking myself, why are we all channeling? I get to see Peter Obi. I think that was since 2023. And I'm asking, why are we even channeling why is the government of the day channeling everything down to NDC? It was from ADC, from Labour Party, he moved to ADC, and from ADC, he moved to NDC. Why are we still channeling that? We have how many candidates? We have Sowore there, Omoyele Sowore. We have who has actually been granted bail on 200 million naira. And yes, they have been protesting about that. Definitely, it happened yesterday in Abuja, but that's not what we're talking about. And we have an article there. We have so many other persons, so many other candidates coming up. Why are they channeling their energy towards P2B? I think there should be something really special that we don't get to know right now. I really want to hear, I really want to bring it out to you. You know, that's my job. What's exactly special about P2B? And if he won in 2023, what is the probability that he will not win in 2027? Well, Dare made it clear there, telling us that they have already gotten to that scorecard. They've gotten it. They have done their bit, and they made sure that yes, you know, they have brought about, you know, good form of democracy. They have ruled well. The APC party have been very, very fantastic. The president have been doing a good job when it comes to all sectors. Dare feels the president has actually touched every sector. So he feels like with that, there is no way Peter Obi is a big deal for Tinubu or for the APC. Well, we do not have anything to say concerning that. We'll be keeping our fingers crossed and waiting for 2027. If Dare is right, of course, whoever wins, we go with whoever wins. That's the best part of it. Whoever wins, fine, becomes, you know, the man of the day and becomes our president. We have Atiku, we have Showore, we have Peter Obi, and we have our dear President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So let's keep our fingers crossed, of course, as usual, and wait. All you need to do is to make sure that you get your voters card ready. Please, let's not give up. A lot of Nigerians have given up. Every time they've been calling, come out or come and you know, register. I've seen so many adverts like that on social media where they have been calling out Nigerians to come out to register their for their card, for their permanent voters card. And so many Nigerians are becoming so reluctant. Some of them feel like their vote will not count. Some say that the hunger in the land is too much, so they need money, they need motivation, they need good jobs, and they need security. So many persons highlighted their reasons why they are not going out to vote. But whatever it is, please make sure you get your PVC. You're a Nigerian. That's the only way to be patriotic. All right, get your PVC. Go out there on the you know, come the day of the election. Go out there, vote the candidate of your choice, and avoid vote buying. Vote buying is wrong by all means. Avoid it. Vote the candidate of your choice and let the best man win. That's the thing. Let the best man win. The best man will always emerge victorious. So let the best man win, of course. All right, let's take a look at some comments from social media as regards this. The first comment is coming from Buka Pinch. And Buka says, first of all, now only Peter Obi they contest this election. Secondly, if you don't see him as a threat, then let NDC be. All right, okay. Secondly, second comment is coming from Kids Fashion and Back to School. And Kids Fashion says, as simple as it is, let's see by conducting free and fair election. Who wins we support, but when it's rigged, God forbid truly it's rigged, and we hope that this time around Amupiton is going to, Professor Amupiton is really going to do a great job. Joash has been doing a great job when it comes to conducting the election. You know, he has been doing so much to see that 2027 election is a success. So let's also give him the support, give the Independent National Electoral Commission all the support that we can to make sure that 2027 election runs smoothly as it's supposed to be, and not get any form of, you know, there's a lot of chaos that happened in 2023. We saw a lot of persons die. We saw so many thugs. We hope this one runs smoothly. So make sure it is not rigged. That's the only thing Nigerians are asking. I think that's the voice of Nigerians there. Make sure it is not rigged. We are going to come out. No problem. If it's free and fair, it will not be rigged. So please, we all come out and vote your conscience that day. And make sure you are supportive, and make sure you are patriotic. Make sure you join the lines, because we've seen queues that so many persons drag on the queue and it's the end of fighting. Please make sure you come out when you're supposed to come out. You register when you're supposed to register. Be on the queue and be part of the election. Definitely, we are all going to meet on election day, and whoever becomes the winner becomes our president, and we are definitely going to support, just like patriotic Nigerians that we all are. All right, this is the much we have for you today on the show Social Buzz on Global Morning. We wish we had more time. We really want to discuss so much on that. But yes, I'll be leaving you to the Global Morning crew as they carry on with the discussion. So don't go nowhere. Please go nowhere. Sit down and enjoy the rest of the discussion on Global Morning. I am Ogochukwu Mobina. Once again, good morning, Nigerians and viewers around the world. Bye for now.
When social media speaks, we listen and we bring you the extra. It's your one-stop shop for trends, tweets, and the tea everyone's sipping on. Join the conversation, share your thoughts, and get that extra dose of what's shaking the internet.
And on issues making wave on social media to your doorstep.
Social Buzz Extra, where the trend meets the talk, only on Global TV.
All right, you're welcome back from that Social Buzz segment. Hope you learned a lot. It's all about 2027 when it has to do with politics and what the individuals of Lagos have to say when it comes to politics. It's a very serious issue. Some people don't take it lightly. Some people do. Some people just feel, let them do their thing when it comes to politics in Nigeria. But hopefully the needful will be done. It is your right. It is your power. Ramsey, do you have your PVC?
I do have a PVC. I'm a Nigerian.
Very good.
I don't have my PVC, but then I'm an essential worker. So most,
there we go again.
Yeah, on election days, we are not in one place and all of that.
Of course.
Traveling to where I got my PVC will be a little. I can do a transfer, so that's not an issue. So we're ready for 2027.
Okay, I like the sound of that, but at the same time, remember your vote is your power. So if you haven't gotten your PVC, please go out and get your PVC. And yet, just prepare your mind, have that mindset to vote. It's very important. It is your right, it's your power. It will go a long way. Now, let's quickly go on a very quick break. Global returns shortly. Stay tuned.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
At Witchtech Cables, we don't just make cables, we deliver excellence. Our products are built with advanced technology, trusted for their unmatched quality and durability. With a wide range of cables, swift delivery, and continuous innovation, we stay ahead of the market demand. We are proudly Nigerian, fully indigenous, yet world-class. Backed by a professional team, strong technical support, and a deep commitment to customer satisfaction. Witchtech Cables is more than a brand, it's a promise. Witchtech Cables, quality cables better than the best.
At Aerogym Shoe Factory, excellence starts from the ground up. Located at number 1 Pound Road behind Nigeria Correctional Service, Aba, Abia State. We produce 1,500 high-quality shoes every single day. Paramilitary shoes, safety boots, desert boots, ankle shoes, back-to-school footwear. All crafted with state-of-the-art equipment and built for strength, comfort, and durability. For reliable footwear that stands the test of time, choose Aerogym Shoes for better product, strong steps, smart style. For inquiries, call 091-264-53399 or 070-3009-3944 or 080-6573-8374 or call 081-3167-3668. Email info@aerogym.com. Website www.aerogymdesign.com. Aerogym. Walk with confidence. Walk with pride.
It's another time again for us to bring you the first discussion for today on Global Morning. Thank you for staying with us all this while. Now, the discussion is getting started. And of course, we want to look at political inclusivity. You know, oftentimes people talk about inclusivity and they talk about how much are the youths contributing to our politics in Nigeria. Are they ready to get on board, or the opportunity is not there? What effort has been put in place? And on this conversation today, we have someone who is going to be joining us. He is the youth leader of a political party, NRMFCT, and he's also vying for the office of Member Federal House of Representatives, Abuja North Federal Constituency. And of course, we are happy to have you in the studio today, Peter Ambi. Thanks for joining us, Peter.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Peter.
Good morning.
Well done.
Yeah.
Let's get into the conversation. When we talk about political inclusivity, a lot of people have different perceptions when it comes to political inclusivity. Some persons are saying, well, how many of the women do we have? Some people will say, how many of the disabled people faced with challenges, physically challenged persons? Then the bulk of it, where our conversation is going to center on this morning, is on the youth, because you are a youth leader and you are vying for a position at the House of Representatives to represent a constituency in Abuja here. Now, what do you think of political inclusivity in Nigeria?
Well, I will be speaking basically for my political party, what we have on ground, and then I'll be throwing more light to what we have as far as the Nigerian space politically is concerned. In terms of inclusivity, if you check from the records we have previously or in the past, you will discover that some set of people are not being carried along, particularly the youth as well as women in politics. So that gender sensitivity has not been taken into consideration to a reasonable extent. And then with the aspect of including the youth in the political sphere of Nigeria, we are far left behind as a country. And that is why NRM has a particular principle that it's operating on to ensure that this has actually come to an end. And by the time that we begin to emerge as leaders in this very country, politically, we'll see exactly what NRM has in stock for Nigeria.
All right, I would like to ask a question. How will you assess youth participation in politics in Nigeria?
Well, in terms of assessing the youth's political involvement in the Nigerian space, I would say, based on my assessments, is very poor. And if you look at it critically, I have my reasons why I sound this way. The reason is because the government of the Bola Ahmed Tinubu federal government is actually not doing enough in that very regard. And by extension, it has affected a lot of things in terms of policies that are meant to be implemented that will affect and cause a change in this country. And that has affected a lot of developmental issues in the country. So the federal government is not doing enough in the country to see how this can actually be addressed. And this is exactly where NRM is actually coming in to see how these issues can be taken into consideration and nip in the bud.
All right, Peter, I need to ask you this question because there is this belief that the Nigerian youths are not ready. And power, they said, is not given, but is taken. And hence we have elections. A lot of people vying, and at the vote, a particular office holder is being elected. How prepared are the Nigerian youths?
Well, Nigerian youth, if you look at it very well, the agitation is very, very tense as far as this country is concerned. And I will tell you that they are ready to take on the leadership of this very country. But such kind of opportunity and platform doesn't really have them in mind, and that has really affected the developmental issues as far as this country is concerned, because they are not being taken serious. If you look at it, they will just, how can it be that when youths are protesting, you are coming to see how you can be able to at least calm them down by giving them perhaps maybe rice and indomie and all that, just because you feel that by the time you do this, it will calm the nerves. And if you look at it very well, that is to say that the youth of this country has been relegated to the background. And this has really caused tension and crisis every now and then. And that is why we can't really find a lasting solution to our problems. We only address it on the surface. But later on, it will resurface again, and we continue to battle with it. And that is exactly why I'm saying that the Nigerian government is not serious. It's not taking the youth serious. And that is why we are left in the shadow of the past. And we are still living in the shadow of the past, rather than making headway to see how we can be able to effect change in the political space of this very country.
Let's talk about the not too young to run act.
Yeah.
Do you think it has achieved its intended objectives?
I don't think so.
Why?
My reasons are just very simple. My reasons is because if you look at the leadership mix that we have in the present day government, how many of the youths can you be able to count in that regard? The number is very, very poor. I cannot actually, because if I'm a data specialist, and if I will actually rate what we have at the moment, is nothing above 5%. And if you look at it, that 5% that I'm even rating is because I just want to be magnanimous with my figures, but it's even below 5%. And 5% is not really a pass mark, because if you look at the bulk of the population in Nigeria, in the UNFPA statistics, if you go to their dashboard, the Nigerian dashboard, you will look at it that we have 150 million Nigerians who are youth in the population. And the population, as we have at the moment, we have 242 point something percent. 242.2 million people in this very country. And if 150 million constitutes the youth, it means that we are not being fair to the youth. by giving them just less than 5% of leadership positions in the corridors of power. And so we need to actually shift. We need to find a way to shift from where we are to a more better position whereby the youth will not have reasons to begin to blame the government, day in, day out, without seeing any change or anything being done concerning their agitation. So enough is not being done. So to me, I actually feel that it is very, very poor at the moment, considering the situation that Nigeria has found itself in it today.
You know, you spoke a lot about the government. I heard you when you said a lot needs to be done when it comes to that aspect.
Yeah.
Now, in your own opinion now, what role should the government play to encourage youths to participate more in the political space?
Yeah, number one, if you are selling a ticket for, let's say, National Assembly, House of Representatives or Senate, you are selling it at 100 million and above. Or let me just say 70 million. How many of the Nigerian youth can be able to afford that? That is where we're having a problem, because it's a deliberate attempt to deny the Nigerian youth from taking part in the political affairs that concerns this very nation or their own future. Because if you are reasonable enough and you want to be considerate, to give them that very space where they can actually participate politically or in the democratic affairs of this very country, you need to be fair enough to make it in such a way that their ticket shouldn't be something that this youth cannot be able to afford. How many of the youth now can be able to boast of 1 million naira in their account? Talk more of going to have a reserve that will even make them to have this kind of ambition to go into politics. So they have actually created a monster in the political space such that the forms is not there. So how do you intend to make them to be a part of this very polity that we are talking about? They cannot participate in politics because you say that democracy is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. But the people are not being carried along because 150 million youth is not a small number out of 242.2 million that we have in the country today. So if you must be considerate to carry them along to ensure that they participate fully in the political affairs of this very country, you need to be fair and magnanimous to them such that the forms can be sponsored, whether free of charge or at a reasonable cost that they can be able to afford it.
All right, that's well spoken. You talked about getting form. You know, the price of form, all right, differs in every political party.
Yeah.
The APC could be selling for 10 million or 100 million, as the case may be. ADC is selling, the Nigerian Rescue Movement will be selling, that's our NRM now.
Yeah.
The AAC, different. Don't you think, what do you think of the youth? Can't they locate a party where they can afford the form if that is the problem? And why not form a political party, get it registered, and say this party is for the youth, and we will be using this platform with good ideology to get to where we want to be? Do youths in Nigeria have that enthusiasm and that thinking mentality?
The youths in Nigeria, come to think of it, it's just like you have different fruits in a basket. The youths in Nigeria have an ingenuity that will change the political space of Nigeria if given the right opportunity to participate in. National Rescue Movement have already planned, or it has a plan at the moment, whereby if a youth indicates their interest to run for any political office, just like myself, who is running for Abuja North constituency, Federal constituency, my form is almost free of charge at no cost. So this is the kind of plan that NRM is coming with it on board for the youth, just because they want to ensure that youth are fully represented in the political affairs of this very country. If you look at even our party leadership structure, basically I will tell you that 88% of that number is made of youth. And any one of them that have interest to run for any political office, in fact, there was a time that NRM actually sponsored youth by giving them free forms to run for the offices. But the problem we later had was some of the people that actually came to do that were lured by the big guys, the big political wigs. And they lured them into buying them over. So they sell that very mandate in exchange for whatever gain that was sold out to them at
yes,
that time.
Peter, that's where the problem is.
Yes.
The issue of youth allowing themselves to be used by politicians.
Yes.
Tools.
All right, as tools, either to help them hijack ballot box, to help them buy votes, or to help to be talks and whatever. Don't you think that singular act can make Nigerians, the electorate, not to believe in the potentials of the youth? What do you think can be done to ameliorate that scenario?
So that is exactly where I was going. I was about to even land. And so we have to now begin to go back to the drawing board to see how we can be able to put in measures to be able to curtail these kind of anomalies. And what we did was we now decided to go on grassroots mission, grassroots rescue mission. And what we do at that very level is we do a peer-to-peer political education, trying to sensitize the youth not to be conscious of money, but to be conscious of their own future, because their destiny lies in their hand. So any person that is coming to vie for any political office, we have a caveat, and we have an undertaking form whereby you sign that this is exactly what our rules are, and you must go by it. And by that, we'll be able to curtail some of those anomalies that I have mentioned. And so, if other political parties will buy in to go into this very voters education or political education, just like we are doing at the grassroots, to see that people are being educated politically, particularly the youth, who are basically being maneuvered or being manipulated by these political bigwigs because of the money they throw around. So if this kind of orientation will go all across board, all across the political platform, then definitely we would have been able to at least cop some of those very anomalies that would have kept Nigeria in quagmire.
Now, talking about political parties now,
Yes.
do you think these political parties actually create that opportunity, or will I say avenue, for young people to become leaders?
For other political parties, I may not really speak for them, because
But what you have seen, we've seen various leading political parties, the opposition, the leading, and all of that encompass. We've seen them, they've been listed and all of that. I don't want to mention any, but looking at it critically with what they are bringing to the table, I will say, and what yours is also bringing, do you think there's that avenue to make young people leaders?
Yeah, definitely. If only they will imbibe the culture of trust in the youth. To trust in the youth, and then allow the youth to also have a say in the government that they are also part of. If only that can be done with that very orientation and the peer-to-peer political education at the grassroots level, I believe quite sure that that will be able to address some of those very issues. But how many of them are doing that? How many of them are doing that? If you check very well, only few political parties who are in the opposition, that are, because they are trying to see how they can be able to grab power from the political party that be, they tend to really put some of those measures in order to differentiate themselves from the present political party that is in power. So if they will find a way to abide and to also sustain what they are doing, then definitely there's going to be that time whereby Nigerian youth will be part of the game and will change the narrative that the Nigerian youths are fully ready to, to wrestle power from the hands of the big wigs in politics.
Do you know that Nigerians hardly believe or trust politicians? And it became glaring recently when some political parties were now asking their candidates to take an oath so they don't defect with their mandate after getting into office. At least 2 political parties that I know, it was in the public space. For your own political party, the National Rescue Movement, have you won some seats before in elections in Nigeria?
Yeah, that's a very good question to ask. A reason why we are not among those parties that we are recently deregistered was because we met the criteria, and the criteria says, according to the new 2026 Electoral Act, which specified clearly that political parties must have at least won a seat, either at the local governments, the state governments, or at the, at the federal. So in 2019, when the political party was being established, we've been able to win like up to 2 seats at the House of Representatives, and that is the reason why we are still standing today as a political party, and we are still trying to do more. If not because of what later happened, just like I've said earlier, other political parties trying to, to make the space unbearable for us to be able to emerge and evolve as a political party by bringing out some measures that suppress our ability to become what we intend to be as a political party. NRM would have been able to produce more than 10 party leaders, or let me just say public office holders in Nigeria in the last election. But because of what really happened, what played out, that was denied. And so, but we believe quite sure that in this 2027, the narrative is going to change. What
played out? What played out? Nigerians are going to die.
Yes. What played out? Definitely.
I don't know.
Because if I know quite sure that I wouldn't want to begin to mention some things that may actually make other political parties to look at it as if I'm just coming here to blackmail them. But this is exactly what really happened. Definitely that what transpired in the last election. If the beavers would have actually been allowed to run as a system that was put in place according to the Electoral Act, if elections were collated electronically and then transmitted electronically, voting was also done electronically, and everything was done electronically as specified in the Electoral Act, issues that really came up that led to other petitions happening at that level wouldn't have really happened. But because they later decided to do what they intend to do, to make the electronic system not to work as expected, and they tend to give it a name that there was a glitch and all that, and that denied a lot of people from voting. That has also denied a lot of political parties from evolving as political parties that has fair representation all across the country. So that has denied a lot of opportunities for almost all political parties in Nigeria. And we need to begin to find a way now to see how we can be able to plug those very holes and see how these things can be addressed in this 2027 election. That's why I'm trying to say that it's not going to be business as usual. Okay. This time around, there's going to be a change. Whether they like it or not, because we know exactly the measures that we're putting on ground. I've said it earlier in my opening speech, that NRM is coming with a strategy. And the strategy is to ensure that we recruit youth, and this youth participates actively in defending votes at the political level, at the polling unit level. And we believe quite sure that the crop of youth that we are mobilizing this time around, they are ready, because we are giving them the orientation to see how they can be able to defend their vote at that very level. And I bet you that this is not going to be business as usual. There's going to be a game change.
So
this is going to be a game change that Nigerians will see. And I believe you, and I believe what I'm saying, that by the time that this has finally happened, I'm telling you, Nigerians will see to it that yes, we are now ready for what Nigeria has been expecting long ago. Yes.
It means your party is youth-oriented.
Yes.
Do you have a presidential candidate?
We have a presidential candidate.
And you got a code from...
Yes, yesterday. Just yesterday. Dr. Esther Nkem Okereke is our... And she's a youth.
She's a youth?
Yes.
So your party is youth-oriented?
Yes.
All right.
I am telling you, all across the internal structure, we are all being represented by youth. And that is why I'm telling you what I'm telling you with confidence. That this time around, it's not going to be business as usual. The narrative will definitely change this time around.
Okay, go ahead.
I know you've said it's not like business as usual, but let's look at the educational sector now. Now, what role do they play in actually helping the youths to prepare for leadership roles when it comes to political leadership roles, in your own opinion?
The education sector? Well, the education sector, just like what has always been, we know definitely that most of our curriculum are moribund, and little effort is being made to see how this can be reversed or can be changed. So, but the educational sector is not doing enough to give or to empower the youth with the requisite knowledge and education for them to be able to know and agitate for what is rightfully theirs. And that is why they can easily be swayed, aside to be lured for them to really do something that doesn't really apply to what moral conscience is all about. So as I'm speaking at the moment, I know definitely that those listening to me out there who are in places of authority, they are not doing enough to see how this can be changed. But I believe quite sure that something is being done currently, just like what the present day government is trying to do by trying to see how they can sponsor some students who cannot really afford education. They are doing some little things to see how they can be able to sponsor them for them to get empowered with education. But the quality of education is the question, and we are trying to do everything possible at our level as NRM to see that by the time we emerge as leaders, this definitely is going to change, because we have in our manifesto what we intend for the educational sector in Nigeria, which of course is going to be different from what we used to have. NRM is coming with something new, and I believe quite sure that by the time they give us these very benefits of doubt, we'll definitely we'll kind of unveil it, they will see it, and they will be a part of it, and they will see that it is different from what they used to know.
Okay, Peter, thank you very much for being part of the program this morning. But before anything, I want to find out from you. No party, I think the registration of party, the case is still in court. No party has been deregistered yet. And thank God that you got a code, all right? And that's one of the foremost things. But now, we're talking about inclusivity here. And we're talking about whether or not the youths are competent. And you've told us that your party is youth-oriented, even from the presidential candidate downwards. Now, what can we do? Because a lot of Nigerians are easily carried away. The issue of greed, the issue of support. We have zealous youths who support candidates, go as far as rigging elections on behalf of candidates, whether they are sent or not, but because they are being overzealous. And the percentage of people who indulge in things like this are youths. How do we handle this situation? Because it has been for a very long time, and we still have it running. Because I'm not sure your party have reached all the youths in Nigeria, the 150 million youths in Nigeria, like you said from your statistics?
Yeah, actually, there are some things that I think can be done in order to stop this ballot box snatching, stuffing of the ballot box, if anything like that exists. But I believe quite sure it still exists to some extent. I believe quite sure that what needs to be done is we need to shift from this manual way of doing things. Because it is often said that it is a fool that does same thing year in, year out and expects different results. We've been doing this kind of a manual way of voting, collation, and transmission. So why not do it in such a way that technology will not come in? If you do it that very way, if they will allow what we have even in the 2023 election, if they will allow that to even scale through, most of these things would have been curtailed to a reasonable extent. But they will not allow that to happen because they know definitely that if they are going to give a fair level playing ground for all, they will no longer be there. Youth will take over everywhere as far as the political space is concerned. But because they have their own vested interest in whatever thing they are doing, so they tend to manipulate the system in such a way that it doesn't really work. No matter what you put on ground, they'll make it not to work. They have the money, they have everything. So whatever thing that they feel like doing, they will do it and get away with it because they have what it takes to do it. So the only way that I think that this can be stopped is when Nigerian youths now begin to demonstrate to the powers that be that enough is enough. We know definitely that we have been in this very quagmire for quite a long time. We've been stockpiled here for quite a long time, and it's time for us to effect change. And by the time they begin to grab the bull by the horn and stand to their ground that this is exactly what we want to happen, because there are 150 million. Honestly, there's no how you can bring 10 million old people to be able to withstand 150 million. So the only thing is that we just give that chance to what is really happening to happen.
All right,
that is why
Peter,
we are stuck in this very quagmire for quite a long time.
All right, our time is up. Yes. We can't continue with the conversation anymore. It's been a discussion, political inclusivity, assessment of youth participation in politics with Peter Ambi, who is the youth leader of the National Rescue Movement Party in Nigeria, and he's also vying for the Abuja North Federal Constituency. Thank you very much for joining us, Peter.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being part of the program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, we'll take a quick break. After this break, we'll return and we'll look at the state of the nation. I know a lot of you are not satisfied with the state of the nation, but we have an analyst who is going to be talking to us about governance, about leadership, about the security situation in the country. All of that will come your way after this break. Stay with us.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Usoro.
On Global Television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust our multi-platform news broadcast, real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG.
Global TV News, accurate and unbiased. I'm Uyi Agmofwebe.
Thank you, everyone, for being part of the discussion. It has been an intensive and educative discussion, but then you ain't see nothing yet because something is coming up right now. That's how we do it on Global Television, especially when it comes to our flagship programs.
Yes.
Have you thought about the state of the nation, the leadership, the governance, and the security situation in this country? It's going to form the basis for our discussion today, and we are going to be engaging a political analyst who will be doing justice to the conversation. He's going to be joining us via Zoom, and we have a political analyst in the person of, in fact, Dr. Moses Saleh is joining us right now via Zoom as we look at the state of the nation, and he's a political analyst. It's good to have you join us, Moses.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
All right, we don't have time, but then we'll get into the conversation straight, Doctor. As it is right now, the state of the nation, some people are saying we are having more of politicking than governance. And for that reason, there is a lacuna somewhere, which is making way for the insecurity in the country. We're going to look at all of that. But what's your assessment of governance in Nigeria, not just with this administration? You can maybe do an assessment from Jonathan to Buhari, then you come to this administration.
All right. Thank you very much for your question. You know, when you want to talk about a comprehensive analysis of governance in Nigeria. That alone is a thesis on its own. But notwithstanding, I'll try as much as I can to see how I can summarize it. In this part of the world, when I talk about this part of the world, I talk about third world nations and especially African countries. One of the major challenges that we have, or that our political leaders have, is the inability to draw a line between governance and politics. And that is the reason why our countries, the countries of the third world, are in the situations that they are. Because if you begin to politicize everything, there's no way you make objective decisions. Because politics is sentimental. You must take a stand or take a particular perspective, to take a decision. And when you are doing that, you are hurting governance, because governance is scientific. For instance, if you want to make a decision on who should occupy a particular office, if you are political, you will look at what political value does the person bring to you or bring to your party. What contribution has he made? If you begin to look at those criteria, you are not going to have the best. But if you think from the governance perspective, you will look at what are the qualities that the person possesses? What are his qualifications? What are his track records? Does he have the capacity to deliver? When you begin to think in that dimension, then you are thinking governance. So this is where the problem lies. So if we should go back and look at from the Fourth Republic, beginning with the presidency of Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, from there to Yar'Adua Jonathan, and later Jonathan, to Buhari, and to the present administration. Obasanjo showed some semblance of governance, and that could be seen from the kind of decisions he made, in terms of appointment, in terms of national policy. He was the one that took the decision that made so much policy decisions that we can see even up to today, in terms of the telephone that we use today, the liberalization policy that he pursued, and also the appointment of people like Okonjo-Iweala and the rest into his administration. These are people that never played any role in his election and all that. So these were imprints of governance that you can see. But thereafter, we had a Yar'Adua who would have continued in that step, because Yar'Adua also made some decisions that that looks like someone who was ready to govern. For instance, the reform that he brought to INEC. Before he started the INEC reform, he said that even the process that brought him in was a flawed process. It takes someone who is thinking in the direction of trying to govern a country to take that kind of decision, or to make that kind of pronouncement that what brought me in is a flawed process, which is a national indictment. But because he was ready to govern, to correct, the rot that was in INEC, he made that pronouncement and immediately swung into action by instituting reforms in INEC. And the reform he instituted in INEC brought a lot of credibility, reformed the institution, and the institution gained trust of the public, gained public trust. Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear.
Okay. So the reform that the Yar'Adua administration pursued brought a lot of things. He reversed some things because he felt that the privatization policy that was pursued, giving selling the national assets like the refineries to Dangote was not properly done, and so he reversed some of these things with the intention to reform those assets and make it viable. So he pursued those things. And when you look at it from that perspective, you will realize that he was ready to govern, not to politicize. Then, unfortunately, he died in office, and Jonathan took over from him. Jonathan pursued some of the things he started, like the INEC reform and all that. Jonathan pursued it, even with more vigor. And other policies that Jonathan pursued. He also brought people like Okonjo-Iweala back to the government, and other people like Adesina, which we saw the kind of reforms that he pursued in the Ministry of Agriculture. Since he left, we have not had any minister that that beats that record. And before then, Adesina was not known as a politician. He was just an expert working with an international firm. So all these policies that Jonathan pursued at that time, indicated that he wants to govern. And if Jonathan was more political, like the way we are seeing now, there wouldn't have been any change of power from PDP to any other, because he would have muddled everything up. But because he wanted the people's will to stand, he considered defeat, which is the hallmark of that. Then let's move to the Buhari's administration. Regrettably, the Buhari's administration, reversed some of these gains that we made. And that could be seen from the kind of appointment he made. Appointment was driven not on the basis of capacity, on the basis of competence, not on the basis of, qualification. Mundane things were used because politics took over. And we have been in that trajectory to this very point, because there is nobody that you can see that is holding any appointment in the government that does not have anything to do with the ruling party. You must have something doing with the ruling party before you can gain any form of appointment to make any meaningful contribution. So in that state, I will conclude that from that 2015 to date, it appears that politics now dominate governance, because the decisions that we have seen over time appears to be more political than taking a governance style in terms of critically looking at, what are the wins that the person or the policy you are pursuing is bringing in. So this is where we are at this point in that regard. Thank you.
Thank you for being a part of the program. But I would like to ask, based on insecurity now. Now, how has insecurity affected the nation's economy, education, and of course, invested climate in Nigeria?
Of course, security is the hub of the center. That is why you see that in the Constitution, you say the welfare and the security of the people shall be the priority of government. Any government in any office, it does not matter which office that you occupy. As far as you are within the layers of the structured power, your number one priority is to secure, to bring security to your environment. Because without security, there is no governance. That reminds me of one famous American Secretary of State, Mark Manaman. He says that security is development. And without security, there is no development. So I key into that assertion to say that, yes, without security, the insecurity in Nigeria, affects everything. It affects our thinking, even our psyche. It affects how we think now, where we go, things we do, businesses we can do or not. All this stuff are affected by our thinking. And when you talk about public infrastructure, they are also affected. When you talk about our schools, they are also affected, because people are now being kidnapped from schools. Teachers are now being kidnapped and beheaded. So that is a strong message. When you go to the north now, especially far north, you see that some parents don't even want their children to go to school because of fear of not being kidnapped, and begin to ask for ransom, which they may not have. So all these are the things that, creating uncertainty in the country. And when you talk about even investment, investors look for where it's stable. They look for where, not just about making profit, they look for where it's stable, where they can have, they can think freely and also look at the opportunities that are available. But when you have situations whereby when people think if they come, they could be kidnapped, or they could be killed, or one thing or the other could happen, it will begin to make them think elsewhere. So that can also affect, businesses. I don't know what the figures are now, but if we look at the foreign direct investment that the country has attracted from first quarter down to this period, and you compare it to like 4, 5 years or 10 years ago, you will see a huge gap. And that tells you something. That when you see that, there's something, the security situation is contributing to that as well. So in all spheres of life, insecurity is a major concern. And every country that is serious must be able to pursue it to ensure that, you secure your country and you allow those who live in your country, both citizens and non-citizens as well, to feel free to go about doing their businesses and go about, freely and not that thinking free. By the time you achieve that, every other thing will now follow.
To 2027 a little bit. Now, we've just talked about the economy of the nation, and of course, Nigerians believe that it's a mentality anyway, that for the economy, based on the first question that was asked, gets deteriorating from one administration to the other. Some political economists or economists will tell you, well, we had a little bit of maybe growth and all of that. The graph is not so much, and more so that the average Nigerians are not feeling the growth in the economy. Now, can we say the reason why we have this could be connected to maybe borrowing as against the forthcoming election, or there is a lacuna somewhere where somebody is not doing what he or she is supposed to do?
Well, you see, when I started, when you asked me a question, on the governance and the politics, I try as much as I can to draw the line for you. You see, when you politicize things that you should govern, there are consequences. When you look at great nations all over the world, the US, China, and some European countries, go and look at the caliber of people that runs their economy. Go and look at the brains that runs their economy. It's not by accident. They know that economics is science. Economics is science. And you cannot give what you don't have. It is what you have that you can give. It is the capacity that you have that you can use. When you put people, because they are from the same geopolitical zone, you want to satisfy your ethnic group, or you give people the appointment because they are your in-laws or this and that. This is where the politics comes in. And it's not progressive. I'm not saying you cannot, when you see somebody who is your brother or your sister that has the capacity, that has the competence, that has what it takes to deliver, you should not. I'm not saying that. All I'm asking is that give the job to those who can do it. In this same republic, there are pockets of examples that we can see. For instance, when Baba Bisi was the governor of Osun State, Bisi Akonde, go and check his record. Some people he appointed into his cabinet were his strong critics. People who criticized him, even while they were even in his cabinet, they were even criticizing him. But he gave them appointment because he saw that they had the competence, they had the capacity. And when you see such things, you will know that this man He's not playing politics, he's governing. He wants to deliver. And many people are like that. There are people who are like that. There are instances like that. Even during the Obasanjo's era, there are people he gave appointment to that were criticizing him. Even Jonathan, we saw, even during Jonathan's time, the CBN governor, we was the CBN governor, I was criticizing the president. I don't think we have such kinds of things at this time. So when you give people jobs or give them opportunities on the basis of their capacity, on the basis of their competence, then they will deliver. But when you give them because they are from the same ethnic group with you, they are your brother, you have known them for long, that is not a criteria for turning things around. When Okonjo-Iweala was Minister for Finance, we saw the evidence. We saw the evidence. Even though that Labour did not allow their administration to remove subsidy, we still saw the evidence of what, a bright brain can do when you give responsibility. When Adesina was Minister for Agriculture, we saw the evidence. You saw the prices of food crash. Farmers were smiling. All the bottlenecks that they had to access seedlings, access fertilizer, access tractors, all those things, he removed them by creating a wireless system. That is brain. Don't just give people responsibility because they speak the same language with you, or you have known them for a while, or somebody recommended them and you did not check to see if they have what it takes to deliver. When you make decisions on the basis of is my brother, is this, the same faith, you have missed it. I think that is where we missed it. Look at all the nations that are doing well. When you go to the country, you see some of them, even Nigerians are occupying strategic positions in some countries because they have discovered that they have capacity and competence. When you go to the UK now, I think there's a Nigerian who is the leader of the opposition there. And you can see, if you listen to the parliament, you see the quality of contribution. When you go to US, they are everywhere. Nations that are serious are scouting for the best because it is the best that delivers the best. You cannot give what you don't have. So, to cut the story short, if you want to revive Nigeria, if you want to revive the economy, hand it over to those who have what it takes to turn it around. If you give it to someone who is giving you excuses, that is what you will have throughout, because the person does not have what it takes to turn things around. It's as simple as that.
Moses, let's tilt towards insecurity again. Now, let's talk about enhancing security. How important is intelligence gathering and, of course, state policing?
Well, you're asking two questions at a time. Well, there's no problem. For any successful security operation, intelligence must be at the forefront. Because without intelligence, you just be groping in the dark. When someone enters a room and there is no light, the room is dark. To find the key or something that you are looking for is very difficult. So intelligence is the one that gives that light to the security agencies to be able to know what they are looking for and how to get what they are looking for. So intelligence is key. And it's not surprising that serious nations are spending so much of their money for intelligence gathering. Both human intelligence and both artificial intelligence and every form of intelligence that they need to be able to succeed. They use it because without intelligence, you cannot have a good security operation. And considering the kind of threat that we are facing right now, this, terrorism and insurgency, these are operations that you don't just carry out, because an insurgent might be your neighbor, or a terrorist might be your neighbor. You won't know. They will greet you very well. You might even, have a party and invite them. They will come as gentlemen, sit down and go. But the right intelligence can fish them out. And this kind of intelligence, they are not cheap. It is something that the country consciously invests, so that you can be able to secure your country. Because if your country is not secure, all the roads you are building, all the things, infrastructure you are providing, they don't really matter. It is security first. And when you secure it, then people can now drive freely on the road. People can go to shopping malls and feel safe. People can go to schools and feel safe. People can go to worship places and feel safe, and go to the market and all that and feel safe. Then it is when you achieve that, then you can now say you are now pushing towards development. But if you don't have that, you'll just be struggling. That is that. Then the issue of state police that you raised, state police is an issue that is overdue in Nigeria, because Nigeria is a federal state. In every federal state, there are layers of security architecture. When you go to any nation that practices federalism, go to the US, for instance, you will see the federal police, you will see the state police, you will see community policing. You even estates where people live, they have their own police. You will see police, is several layers. And that helps them to respond quickly. The essence is to respond to threats, But in Nigeria, like I said, because the government appears to politicize almost everything, that is why you are finding opposition around it. Because, others are saying that he wants to give the governors power to be able to silence us. As election is coming, they won't allow us to campaign, this and that. That is the political dimension. And it's not something that emerged overnight, because they have watched the government take decisions over time for the past 3 years. You have made decisions, and those decisions you have made, they have seen it that they are more political than governance. They are political. So when you are bringing issue like that, other opposition leaders will rise up against them, because they know that if they allow it, it's going to work against them. They don't look at the benefits at the long run, or even the immediate benefit that it brings in security, because of the politicization of what it is. That is the problem.
Thank you very much. Now, our time is fast spent, but then we need to talk about this 2027. It appears as if we're having a lot of politicking as against governance. Now, some people are saying a lot of political parties are feeling insecure, and for that reason we have a lot of court cases, this party to be deregistered, this national chairman, these factions here and there. Now, come 2027, what do you think Nigerians should be expecting?
Expecting in terms of what? Let me be specific. What kind of expectation are you saying? Are you saying Nigerians should expect?
Yes, what I mean is, all right, from the primaries, already from the primaries, we all saw what happened from the primaries. A lot of implosion in different political parties right now. We've been having voter apathy from the off-cycle elections, all right? We've been having vote buying. INEC is in the mix. Now, 2027 election, are you saying if this continues, some parties may not make it? Are you saying some that will still have voter apathy? Are you saying this is going to be the best INEC that we will be having so far with Abukiton? That's what I mean.
Okay, I get you now. I will start with INEC. If we continue the way we are going, the next election, the next general election, might turn out to be, I don't want to use the words that say the worst, but it might turn out to be the election that is adjudged to have fallen below, the acceptable threshold. Why am I saying this? Is that INEC as the electoral management body, have not lived up to its responsibilities, have not lived up to its expectations. And because of that, there is no public trust in the institution of INEC. We have issues trusting the institution that is conducting the election. And because there is no public trust, it's going to affect voter turnout. It's going to affect voter turnout. And because it's going to affect voter turnout, the few people that will summon the courage to come out, they would be compromised, they would be induced, and there will be a vacuum where they will now rig massively. Because people did not come out to vote, the politicians will now cast the ballot for them. And at the end of the day, we now have a government that is bereft of acceptance from the public, the government that lacks credibility. And all these indices are what affect the performance of whoever occupies our office. When you are voted by the people and you have the people's trust and you have their confidence, you can be able to do well because you are accountable. Even in this dispensation, where we have flashes of good governance, go and check out, go to Abia State, for instance, and look at the performance of the government. You will know that how was he elected? How was he elected? Was it the people's choice? Even when he was declared the winner of the election, what happened? It was, you see, these are the things. So when you come on and you know that you have the mandate of the people, that you have the support of the people, you have no reason not to perform because you are accountable. And what makes democracy a beautiful enterprise is the accountability. When a government is accountable, that government will succeed because citizens will ask you the critical questions on what have you done with the resources available to you. And you must be able to explain to them that this is what I have done, this is what I have done. And if you do not have that explanation, then you should not be thinking of coming back, or there are consequences that comes with it. So, but when you now conduct an election where more than 80% of the population did not participate, for instance, INEC said that we have close to 100 million registered voters. At the end of the year, maybe during the presidential election, you now have 7 million or 8 million who have voted for the president out of 200 and something million population. What would you refer that to? And the way we are going this time around, you may not even have that kind of turnout that will produce that kind of figure. So for that reason, to just
Doc, our time is up.
Yes.
Our time is up. We can't continue the conversation, but I want to say we would love to have you again.
Yes.
Because this discussion, only 2027, we won't be able to finish discussing it in this space of time. So please, we would have you again on this program so that we can have a more fruitful and robust discussion like you just did today.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Dr. Moses, for joining us on Global Morning today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Moses Saleh, for being a part of Global Morning. We really appreciate your wheels of knowledge and contribution. Thank you so much for being a part of the program. Have an amazing day ahead.
Thank you for having me.
All right, everyone. This discussion, from the beginning until the end, I don't know how other people at home felt, but I was enjoying the conversation because it was so informative and in-depth. But then, this is Nigeria. We'll come up with more conversation tomorrow. We will be here again. So just keep watching Global Television for more insightful discussion. Well, this is the size of the conversation, but then we'll let you know that the opinion of our guests is entirely theirs and not that of Global Television. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbomeli. Thanks for staying with us on Global Morning today.
And I am Jumai Manson. Thank you all so much for being a part of our program. And to all our guests, thank you so much. And from Ramsey and I, we say bye-bye.